Playhouse. I'm Alex Rowe, the Artistic Director of the theater. Delighted to see so many of you here in late August, which they say is a terrible time to produce theater, and yet how wrong they are, obviously. This is the, well, I shouldn't say the fourth, really, because it's not true. It is one of 4 evenings of our Alphabet City project, the second installment of the Alphabet City project. And in brief, a number of us went out into the neighborhood, met with people that we had known or not known, depending on who we were, talked with them for a little bit, came back here with their stories, and wrote monologues about them. That's what this is. The words you're going to see, the actions you're going to see portrayed, are those of the actors and the people they interviewed. A nice little amalgam there, presenting some of the life of our wonderful and favorite neighborhood on our very own stage. To enjoy that better, don't smoke. It's terrible for you. Don't talk on your cell phones. It's rude. There's at least one in you. I'm so delighted. What else did I have to say? There's not a show across the hall. We don't have to worry about that. There is but one restroom we share and share alike in a friendly downtown way, and that's at the base of these steps to the left. I'm sorry the light is going out at the top of these steps, so be careful. Just be careful. There are people in the room who know exactly why I say that. And it is a great pleasure to be getting out of your way very soon. So, delighted to see you here. Thanks for being here. I'm out of here.
My father was a jack of all trades. He sold insurance, he worked in the Navy shipyards. He did anything he could to make money for his family because he had 3 children. And one day some guy said to him, "Why are you working for everybody else? You're a smart guy. You should work for yourself, start your own business." And that's what he did. 313 East 6th Street. Lucky number 3. All my father's buildings had the number 3 in them. It was his lucky number. That's where I was born. And I was number 3. On the ground floor, there was a VFW office, Veterans of Foreign Wars. And we lived in the apartment right up above. When they moved out, my father saw this as an opportunity. And he took that opportunity and he started his own business in 1941. And he called it the Veteran Pipe Covering Company. My father was a pipe coverer, so I wanted to be a pipe coverer. The Veteran Pipe Covering Company, we are insulation contractors. We insulate pipes, boilers, air conditioning ducts, chiller heads, roof tank piping. We do repairs. A plumber, he goes on the job. He rips out the insulation. We go in. We insulate the pipes. We insulate steam pipes so they stay warm. We insulate cold water pipes so they won't sweat and bleed into the walls. If they rip out insulation, asbestos insulation, then we go in and we put in fiberglass. You take a fiberglass section, you wrap it around the pipe, you peel off the self-sealing laps, you butt them together, you put some tape on them till you have a nice clean job. If you have an exposed elbow, you use a PVC elbow with insert and tacks. If you have a concealed elbow, you use duct wrap and tape. We started working in the business when we were kids. Our father wanted us to see what it was like to work, So I used to go with my father. I dragged cement bags to all the jobs with him. I liked the physical exercise. I used to even lift weights with my brothers. On our block, on 6th Street, in front of our building, was a cement wall. And we used to play Johnny on the Pony. I used to play with all the guys on the block and my 2 older brothers. The cement wall, you could sit on it like a pony, and all the guys would take turns running and jumping across it. I did that. I was the only girl. The only girl. It was a brother-sister thing, because I wanted to be so close to my brother John. I wanted to be part of John's world. We were close in age. We were 16 months apart. It was important to me. I used to hang out on the block. I'd play stickball, stoop ball, kick the can with all the guys. And my girlfriend, Carol Chichuli. We used to tell the guys, you play potsy with us, and we'll play stickball with you. I didn't play with any dolls. I don't think I had a doll. I used to play cap guns with my brothers. I used to follow my father and my 2 brothers around because I wanted to be a part of their little clique. I adored my father. He was a pipe coverer. I wanted to be a pipe coverer. We used to sweep out the office. We'd get an allowance. We used to sweep up the asbestos. You can't use asbestos nowadays. It's outlawed. My 2 brothers, they passed away of mesothelioma, which is an advanced form of asbestosis. When you get asbestosis, you start coughing, you have trouble breathing, and it's not good if you smoke. And my brother Peter, he liked to smoke. My brother John, he stopped smoking. Peter, he passed away just this past February. He was 64. He had it of the stomach. John, he passed away in 93. He was 51. He had it of the lungs. Me, I get tested. I have fibers, but nothing. No mesothelioma, no asbestosis. Well, my brothers, they worked in it. I mean, I played in it with them, the asbestos, but I didn't work in it. I didn't put it up on the pipes like they did. I work 12 to 15 hours now. You know, it's not exhausting when you love what you're doing, when you enjoy what you're doing. And I keep going and juggling 10 things at once, and then I start something and everything just comes together. You know, and I just like doing a lot of things, but I could stop. I could just stop. I'll stop and I'll meditate. Our business it's interesting. This whole area is interesting and wonderful. I love the Lower East Side. Growing up, we used to say we lived on the Bowery. And then it became, we lived on the Lower East Side. The categories kept changing. And now it's, we live in the East Village. Growing up was Italian, Ukrainian. Our best friends down the block, they were Ukrainian. A little bit of Polish, Irish, Jewish. It was a real mixture. And I used to hang out on 6th Street. And next door to our building was the Emmanuel Brotherhood, a Jewish recreation center. I used to go there, And then everybody, we'd all go to 2nd Avenue between 6th and 7th Street because there was Moishes on the corner, the candy store. And then we'd go to Ratner's and we'd get a Charlotte Russe in the little white cardboard cup like a crown with whipped cream and strawberries on top. And next door was the Loews movie theater. They're not there now. They're all gone. I went to PS 63 on 3rd Street between 1st and A, and I used to go to the boys' club. Well, I didn't go to the boys' club. My brothers went to the boys' club. I'd wait outside for them. I joined the PAL. I'd play basketball. I'd go on trips with them. Oh. And everybody on the block would just sit outside. And we'd sit on the steps, and we'd play cards on the steps. We played war. We played knucks, and we pitched pennies. We played marbles. I even taught one of my brother's friends how to whistle. And the Iceman would come, Frankie the Iceman. He'd come in his truck, and there'd be the guy who'd hang up your clothesline, the guy who'd sharpen your scissors. There'd be the fruit truck, the push cart, and the fresh fish guy. He would come. You know, 60 years ago, that was a long time ago. Growing up in Manhattan, it was wonderful. It was so beautiful. In the Lower East Side, I had a wonderful childhood. Everybody looked out for everybody. You didn't have to lock your doors. Everybody watched everybody's kids. I'm 100% Italian. I was called Lucille. I was named after my 2 great-grandmothers, Lucia. We used to go to the San Gennaro feast. Oh, it was so beautiful. Oh my gosh, then, they would bring out the saint and you could pin the money right to the saint. And you could go into the church. You can't go into the church now. It's all changed. We were so close to Little Italy. It was right over there on Houston and Prince. And then we used to go and watch my uncle play bocce ball on Houston and First. There's still a little park over there. I spoke fluent Italian. I would talk to my grandmother. She lived with us. And then she passed away when I was 4 years old. And my father said to my mother, "That's it. You speak English." Because in those days, you weren't supposed to speak English. You didn't speak a foreign language. You were more Americanized. And nowadays, it doesn't matter. But then, you spoke English. So nobody spoke Italian to me anymore. So I kind of lost it. But I think it's in my memory bank. You know, like a computer, it's back there somewhere. And I think if I study it, I learn it, it'll come back to me. My mother was a true Italian mother. Her family was her whole world. Nothing more. She cooked, she cleaned, she made the polenta. She would just pour it on the table and make it into a square and put the sauce on it, cut it into squares. The only thing that mattered to my mother was her family and disciplining. My mother was the one who disciplined us because my father, he was busy with the business. He was trying to build something for his family. But my father, he took us out. Once a week, he'd take us out. I remember that. He'd take us to the FDR Drive. We'd go roller skating over there by the water. And he'd watch us roller skate, and then we'd take our roller skates and we'd get a milk crate, and we'd make scooters and ride them up and down. My father had a station wagon, and he'd drive up on the block and he'd tell all the kids, come on, get in. And about 10 of us would go in there. And he'd drive around, he'd take us to get something to eat, he'd take us to the park, he'd get us a hot dog, and wherever we went, he'd say, these are all my kids. My mother, she was too busy. Being a mother, being a housewife, doing chores. She used to iron all the sheets. She ironed the underwear. In those days, they did so much unnecessary work. They made it hard for themselves. So they didn't enjoy life. They didn't have any fun, which was sad. But I got close to my mother after my father passed away, and she didn't have so much to do. My father did something. I'll never forget it. I was a tomboy. And my father, he took me to the Waldorf Astoria. Just my father. He took me there for dinner. My mother got me all dressed up with white gloves. And my father said to me, I want to show you the finer things in life. I had never been to a fancy restaurant. And you know how they put the shrimp on the ice? When the waiter put that in front of me, I said, oh my gosh. And my father said, I want you to know how to be a lady. I was 10 years old. And then the music came on. And my father said, would you like to dance? And we danced. I think my father was trying to show me that it's okay to be who you are with me and your two brothers, but you should also know how to be a lady. And it worked perfect. In 1955, my father told the family, it's time to move. The neighborhood, there had been some murders, and he said we had to move. And so my father moved us to New Jersey. I hated New Jersey! I hated New Jersey! Believe me, I hated New Jersey! I tell my parents, how could you make me leave New York? I can't walk anywhere. I can't walk to the movies. All my friends are here. I'm all grown up. I'm 13 years old. I'm not a little kid. Oh. Living in New Jersey was difficult. My father, he wasn't around. He wasn't downstairs where I could see him all the time. He didn't come home until 7:30, 8 o'clock. I used to wait up for him. Moving to New Jersey, it was the worst nightmare ever. Life in New Jersey, what was it? Home, school. Home, school. And then in the summer, I'd come here and work in the business and wishing all the time that I could always be here. My father moved the business from 6th Street to 11th Street, between A and B. He got a warehouse there. 351. All my father's buildings, number 3. Even the house in New Jersey had the number 3. I always worked in the family business. I got married young. I had my first baby when I was 18. But I'd come down every now and then. Then I came down once a month, once a week. And when my children got older, I came down every day. Always a secretary. Because in an Italian family, you sit behind the desk, you answer the phone, and nobody knows who you are because you're the girl. Not what I'm doing now, actually running the business. Because I had 2 brothers. And you know, in an Italian family, a sister is a sister. They don't know anything. They belong in the kitchen. Kind of sad to think about it, that my 2 brothers had to pass away in order for me to prove to them that I could run the business. They were old-fashioned, you know. A woman shouldn't be out doing business, mingling with men. And now, I boss men. I go out on the job sites. My guys, they want me to come there. They want me to tell them, you're doing a good job. And if they're not doing a good job, I tell them, you got to do this over again. I have about 8 guys working for me. For a small company, that's a good amount of people. They've been with me a long time. 20 years, 24 years, 34 years. We're like a big family. They're mainly from Jamaica. They bring their cousins in. They're funny. I have a big candy jar on my desk. I have a sign on it. Only 3 pieces per person. They were taking big handfuls. We're on 13th Street now since 1975. There used to be an olive oil store there, and they used to make wine down in the basement. And they still have the grapevines out in the backyard. Oh, this neighborhood, the changes in this neighborhood, it's like a roller coaster. Oh my gosh. The drugs. First the drugs came in, then the drugs went out, then the drugs had just started moving in different areas. And 13th Street, where we had the store, big time drugs. And Avenue A, that was even worse. And where we have the warehouse, where we had it on 11th Street, between A and B, there used to be shootings, drug busts. I was afraid to open up the office there all by myself. I have an apartment above the office. I stay there. I have a house in New Jersey, but I live here because I have to get up early. I got to get up at 6 o'clock. I got to open up. I got to get the deliveries. I'm not going to go back upstairs and go to sleep, so I'm downstairs. The guys come at 7:30. They load up. They take up the supplies, so I'm here 12, 15 hours. But if I have to go to a fancy affair, I can be 110% dainty woman. If I want to be. My father, he passed away in '86, and my brother John in '93. And that's when I made the transition in the business. My brother Peter, he was the older brother, but he wasn't as old-fashioned, which is kind of odd. Peter wasn't a people person. He didn't like to mingle. So he told me, he said, you go to the meetings, You bring the business in. So that's what I did. I was more like my father and John. My two sons, they work with me in the business now. But my daughter does not. She's in New Jersey. She doesn't like New York. It's amazing. But my granddaughter, she loves it. She loves it. I met my husband, Maurice. He's a plumbing contractor. I used to talk to him on the phone. For 10 years, I talked to him on the phone. And then my brother Peter, he made an arrangement for us to meet. I'm so fortunate to know Maurice. I thank God for him. He's such a blessing. He's a superb person. Maurice and I, we've been married. Both of us have been married 3 times. And we have 8 children between us. And they all get along, which is nice and important. I divorced my first husband. He used to hit me. And I took it. I took it for a while, but then I said, that's it. No more. Because, you know, it's not good for the children. It's not. And so I left him. And I think that's what made me stronger. That's what made me able to do this business. My second husband, he passed away when he was 38. A wonderful husband. You know, some people, they only have one chance. But I've been blessed twice. I tell Maurice, I say, you know, if anything happens to me, there's going to be a line out the door for you. In the business, we belong to a lot of professional clubs. The Scandinavian Club, the Manhattan Residence Club, the New York Building Managers Club. We go to meetings, we get business from them, we make a lot of friends. And every year, they nominate vendors for awards. And last year, the Manhattan Residence awarded me Vendor of the Year, the Veteran Pipe Covering Company. And last year, the New York Building Managers, they awarded me Vendor of the Year. And my husband Maurice, he's funny. He goes, in all the years, your father and your 2 brothers were working in the business. They never got any awards. And you got them 2 years in a row. It's because we've been in the business a long time, and we give good service. And we continue to give good service. Both my brothers love the business. And my father, he taught us that you work together during the day, and you can argue, you can scream, you can yell at each other. But when you close these doors, you kiss each other because you're brothers and sister again. And we kept that in our minds and in our hearts. And that's why we were able to work together so well all these years. My father, he was a wise man. He taught us well. I love this area. I love this neighborhood. I have so many beautiful memories. My business, it's not only my business. It's a love. It's my family. It's truly a love. It's not a business.
Started doing country, bluegrass, blues, and some jazz in the West Village, and then I got this place, and well, in '73, but it was hard. It was hard, you know, we tried to get a lot of stuff going here, but it was really hard. With what you call Bowery bums for customers, and lots of vagrants hanging around. Well, this is the East Village, and the lovers of this music, they didn't like the atmosphere around here, so they never came back. Then you had these kids, and they were just hanging around. They didn't have any place to play their own music, and I had this place, and well, I liked some of it. First couple of years, we never made any money, and we had to keep the place open, so I used to own a cab. And then this guy told me I could do more with a truck, so I got one. And then I got another truck, and then I had 3 trucks. Started a trucking company. And we started to move stuff all over the place, you know. Mainly for artists in the area, lots of artists in the area. You know, I get some of the guys to help me out. Some of the guys in the band, you know, Barry just had a lot of guys doing nothing. It was real good. I mean, we moved stuff from as far as Baltimore and Rochester sometimes, and we did a lot of work, yeah. We became real popular too. You know? Got invited to a lot of parties. Oh yeah, lots of them. You know, you treat people's things with respect. You don't drop or break anything. And they're real grateful, you know. You know, there was this one time. Well, I met Duke Ellington's sister this time. Yeah, we moved his stuff. Of course, I didn't meet him. He was already dead. And he had this beautiful white grand piano. It was beautiful. It was real heavy. And he had this, you know, this really thick glass. He had this irregular shaped table made out of that. Gave us a hard time to carry, but we didn't drop it. No, they were real happy. She was a nice lady, Duke Ellington's sister. Yeah. There was this one time in Bedford-Stuyvesant, we were moving for these African guys, and it was real clever how they did this. They packed all their stuff in these big black garbage bags, and you know, it was the first time I was seeing this, and these bags, they hold a lot. And they were real easy to carry, and we were used to carrying a lot of heavy stuff, so, you know, it was real good. We carried stuff in Harlem sometimes as much as 6 to 7 floor walk-ups, you know. It was a lot of hard work, but I didn't mind. You know, I grew up on a farm. I was used to hard work. It didn't really bother me. You know, fortunately, money is important. Yeah, you need it. You need it to survive. You need it to pay your bills. I've got to pay my staff. You know, and everything is just so expensive now, especially around here. It's greed. You know they're raising the rent here. It's not double, but it's still a lot of money. And this is a sublease. Yeah, they can. Back then, the owner was a nice guy. Now they can give me notice, tear the whole thing down, put up what they want. It's their building. Except, you know, thank God for the clothing line. It's really taken off. The t-shirts are doing pretty well. You know, just got these designs for some jeans. You know, every place does a fair share amount of merchandising. We just got into it around 3.5 years ago, and yeah, it's really. Gotta check these things here just a second. National Geographic. I like National Geographic. I don't read it. You know. I don't have the time. I watch them on TV. Yeah. What is this? I didn't order this. What is this stuff? Why are they giving me things I don't want? I don't want any of this. You know, if you bought everything everybody sent you, where would you be? Yeah. Oh, excuse me. CBGBs. Yeah. All right. Okay. Oh, well, I'll call you later. All right? Okay. My mother. She's 96. She's 96. Look at this report. 12-year-old boy traumatized. It's every boy's dream to get it on with your pretty teacher. I don't get her. Yeah. I know she's a teacher, you know. I'm talking about she abused the boy. I wouldn't tell. Parents found out, and these reports. It's like when I started. A lot of people thought the area was dangerous. I didn't really think it was. A lot of it was exaggerated, and drugs. Every chance I got, I pushed that away when I saw it. It isn't a question of being prudish. The alcohol's, bad enough. Drugs are worse. It's like I never supported the smoking ban. It's a nice idea to have clean air. But if people can't smoke in a club or bar, where else are they going to smoke? It's got to be better. I just didn't like the way the mayor went about it. I thought the approach was wrong. Yeah, we supported other stuff. But when they came to us for support to try and stop them from tearing down those gardens back there, we supported that. Yeah. got the. You know what's great about this area? Was the variety. No lack of variety here. I don't have a favorite food. I like all foods. But you can get food from all over the world here. Japanese, Chinese, Burmese, Italian, Polish. This is wonderful. And they all deliver. But I just got all this mail here. Some of this stuff, you know, I'm sorry. This is how it is around here. It's real busy sometimes, and you know, I've got checks to sign, and all these things keep coming in. It wasn't always like this. Sometimes it's a lot of fun. Of course, I'm not here as much as I used to be. I live on 3rd Street, but I used to sleep on the floor here. Yeah, well, now I try to go home. Go home and read. Yeah, I read a lot. I don't listen to music. Practice the guitar. You know, take a nap. Sometimes I come back. I used to manage around 6 or 8 bands, you know, because I never got into this for business. You know, I just wanted to help people. You know, and there were these kids. They used to just come around, and they had nowhere to play their instruments, and they had their own music. I had this place, and I just decided to help them out. You know, I just thought, well, some of them were really talented, and it's a shame because they come and I just decided to help nurture it. You know, the sound, and it gradually gained some acceptance. The punk rock, you know, some of them did pretty well, but you know, the record companies, they do very little. And not all of them get signed, and these bands, so many out there, they're so talented. And with commercial radio so regularized and not very accepting of new sounds and ideas, it's just a shame. You know, we've always had that here, combination of music. You know, nothing's really new over the last 20 years. It's all stuff taken from 20 years before. But the experimentation's good, and combination of instruments, and we've always had that here. Yeah, we've had the hip-hop rock bands. What was the name of that group I saw the other day? Saw them on TV. Black Eyed Peas. I like them. They're really good. Again, it's a combination of music. It's a different sound, and we've always had it here. Well, I'll be here as long as this is needed, as long as I can keep my lease going. I'll be here, you know. And people need a place to play their own music. And I can't tell which way it's going to go. Depends on the temperament of the people. And if people think it's still meaningful enough, well, I'll be here. Excuse me. CBGBs.